Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I just came up with an idea for a new series after playing with a guy Eggs. He's currently rank 22 Grandmaster. He was wondering how would you beat Mass Paragon essentially? How would you beat this current late game army? And they gave me an idea for a new video series I think I'll begin making, which will be how to beat this army composition or that army composition. I'm not sure if I'll do builds and strategies as well, although I might actually go into doing that as well, potentially, depending on that. But essentially what this will be is you could ask, potentially if you're having trouble with a certain unit composition, or you just want to see how would you beat this, or what my take on beating this army composition would be. You would ask, hey, how do you beat this composition, in the comments. So if you have any questions about that, go down in the comments now, and then I might make that into my next video. And then yeah, I'd make a video showing how to beat this as all 6 races that are in the Scion races. So I'll start off with Genetron, because that was the race that he was playing. Now, I'm not entirely sure what upgrades I should be giving. I will give +3, considering this is a late game unit. So I'll give +3 for all of the things. For all of that, I'll just stick with pure Paragon right now, I think. I'm not sure if I'll go into a more in-depth, into a more specific and refined unit composition. I think I'll just try Mass Paragon. So, as Genetron versus Mass Paragon, I'm going to assume the upgrades are even, by the way. If you're playing against whatever army composition, it is your responsibility to try and stay at least even on upgrades, if not ahead. Always try to, if you're behind on upgrades, some units just stack so well with upgrades that you'll just lose the game. Like you know, in Terran versus Zerg, if you're behind an upgrade, you start trading super inefficiently. Same in Terran versus Terran, same in Protoss versus Protoss, same in Zerg versus Zerg. All the mirror matchups and some of the non-mirror matchups like Terran versus. So currently the matchup in the standard matchups, probably Terran versus Protoss, in which they matter the least currently, but it still does definitely matter quite a fair bit. Anyways, so I'll showcase a mid-game and then also a more late-game army composition, I think. So in mid-game, you'd probably want just torrents, really. Torrents and blitzers can actually be pretty good as well, because what the blitzers can do is they can activate the supercharge. If you have enough of them, you can then also activate the overdrive, speed in to these Paragons really quickly, snipe one, and then drive away before any of the emissary orbs hit. The blitzers are very good at dodging those emissary orbs. I'll get these, the rest. I'll get that one, Borean Reactor, and then also enhanced targeting. So I'll actually just showcase what that looks like with badges currently. Blitzers. I think that should be enough. I'll try sticking with even costs, but even without even costs, well, this would be enough to snipe, but not enough to kill the entire army, I think. I'll just start with that for now. But Paragons are such high, actually, I'll show the supply. Paragons are such high supply units. A lot of people don't actually know this or realize this, but all the capital ships for the other races are they're not ever more than 6 supply. The highest supply units currently are 6 supply, except for the mothership, which is 8. But all of these Paragons, they're all 8 supply, which is absolutely massive. It's more impactful than the fact that they cost 450, 350, I think. But that's also extremely it's also quite massive in terms of the impact on the game. But yeah, I'm gonna showcase this fight. You can see you can just... Oops, I'm sorry. No, that was a bad fight, my apologies. I messed up my hotkeys a little bit. I'll put these on hotkey 1 and this one on hotkey 2. Then I'll tell them to attack. Okay. And then they can all run away like this. Yeah, this is exactly what I mean. And then you can come in again. Now that the energy requirement is actually 125, you can't use it twice in a row. And even if there was some that didn't use it, with the boron reactor upgrade, you'll quickly have a third kind of like round of 10 energy to go because they have 25 energy. They'll quickly regen another 5 energy once you use the supercharge and the overdrive. Then you can retreat, then you come back in, you snipe another one without supercharge, and then if they have any more emissary orbs left, then you can use overdrive. I don't think I explained that very well. And also these sound effects. A bit loud. There, that should be better. So that's it with, say, if you have blitzers, if you're going with a mass manufacturer. Now, if you're going with mass fabricator, I think it's pretty obvious. You're going to want torrents. Torrents, pretty self-explanatory, but they're also, with this upgrade here, enhanced targeting, that gives them +3 missile range, which is absolutely ridiculous. They already... Wait, what? Oh no, it's because I already have it upgraded. Okay, I was going to say 13 range missiles. No. So the base range is 7, which is already quite high. It's 1 extra range higher than the anti-ground, and the Paragon anti-ground weapon. Although only 1 range difference makes it quite hard to kite. But with +3, now you have 4 more range than these Paragons do from the Paragon air-to-ground and the Torrent ground-to-air. So really all you got to do, and Torrents are already quite fast, so you can definitely dodge the emissary orbs just fine. So I'm going to attack. But look, you just attack. The Paragons will never catch up to you. They're slower as well.
Not enough energy.
You just cut. I'm running out of a bit of room here, but yeah. And there's really nothing that the Paragon player can do. What you would need as Keiron, if you're going Paragons against this, is you'd either need Meridians, and they're nice, like, what do you call it? Convergence, that's right. And their convergence to zone them away, or you'd probably want gyres to lift these all up, prevent them from moving away too much. Sound effects are still a bit loud. I'll turn that down. I'll match the... yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Or even potentially you could go for inducers, which do have a very long range. They'd be good, quite good long term, I think, as well. But yeah, I do expect the gyre would be nerfed, hopefully in some way with its annex ability. So I would probably get more use, like just practice using the Meridian, the convergence. It's like using High Templar Storm, really. It's also incredibly strong against torrents. I'll just actually demonstrate to you right now. What I mean. I think it 2 shots, if I recall. No. Yeah, 2 shots. Just put them on hold position. 2 shots them, which is absolutely ridiculous. So that's what you want against this as a Keiron player. Same with against the blitzers, I think. Okay, now for the late game Genetron army composition. I think you just want Avengers. In the more perfect, in a more like well-rounded army, you know, with multiple different types of units, I would add badges as well for anti-ground against perhaps like Keiron Meridians or any other Keiron ground units like Inducers or whatever. Badges as well would definitely still work very well against the Paragons with the AAM defense turret ability upgrade that they have, which has, I think I did some testing on this, if I recall correctly, it's about a 50% chance that it will shoot down an enemy missile attack. And essentially what I mean by missile attacks, you know, just any projectile really, because these are essentially point defense turrets on every single badger with 50% chance on each. However, when you have many badges, it's going to shoot down all of the projectiles of an enemy army. So it's still less for costs. Even with all this, it's always been less for costs so far. Now, I'm not controlling this perfectly by any means. I would have actually used a Vengeance Missile, but even without using Vengeance Missile, look. Keiron actually wins. Keiron OP. No, that was bad control. Also, the costs are a lot lower. Though, straight up, torrents actually do better than Avengers. Although in this kind of fight, although in a real game, Keiron would have more units. It wouldn't just be pure Paragon. So I would use Avengers in synergy with badges really against this. Perhaps a processor as well. I'll actually show you the difference processors can make. I think Analyze Weakness is an incredibly underrated ability. It's essentially, you know, 20% more damage is huge. Use a bunch of Vengeance Missiles, I retreat away from all those orbs, then I'm going to use Analyze Weakness and do a lot more damage. That's a lot. What? I still lose. Maybe they're not all like that. No, we'll go more. Oh, that's a lot. That's probably even costs, because gas is more expensive than minerals. Hang on a second. Am I wrong this whole time? Oof, that was a big hit. Okay, no. There we go. See what I mean? Isn't that just better? If you use your Vengeance Missile, all you need to do is make sure you use the Vengeance Missile. Without the Vengeance Missile, Avengers are essentially Vikings with short range. So then basically paper planes that are useless. They don't even you know, kind of like how BCs without the Yamato cannon, they'd be completely useless. No one would ever make more than one in a single game. But yeah, that's what I mean. Now I'll show you as well the synergy that badges can have with this kind of armor. How many am I allowed to make? Probably there, and then I'll get the upgrade for them as well. And I'll show you, because these will shoot down, especially the Paragon. This makes a much bigger difference against the Paragon's anti-air. Because it's a large, long, powerful kind of missile, this AM defense turret will shoot it down very, very quickly. Oh wait, what? Well, they can attack air and ground simultaneously. I did not know that. That's cool. But look, they can shoot down the retreat. Now badge is actually very fast. They're the fastest capital ship that exists. So even they can dodge kind of missile. But look, they're shooting down. I'm not even target firing. Hands off the keyboard. I'm not even using all of these vengeance missiles, and they completely trash this. They trashed it even hard. All of the energy is gone from the badges that's remaining. A lot of the energy from the other badges was used, and even though the anti-air completely sucks, look at that. Compared to the ground at least, their defense turrets, because these don't attack very quickly against air units, the defense turrets block a much higher percentage of the incoming damage than say if there was a fast attacking ship like a BC. This wouldn't do as much against a battlecruiser attack because it just attacks so fast. All of this will just be gone practically instantly. It won't be blocking too many of the attacks, but you know, Tempest and Paragon anti-air do a ton. Anyway, I'll move on to the next race. I'm taking a long time. This video's gone quite a long time already. Maybe I won't cover Keiron in this video. Oh, actually I will. So Keiron is pretty similar to Genetron in its counters. You can use subjectors like torrents. They also have an upgrade which increases the anti-air by a ton. Which one was it? This one, Amplified Spheres, increases the attack range of the air by 2, I think. Yeah, range 6 and range 8 now. Except, yeah, it's also less of a machine gun attack, so it's a bit easier to kite. See what I mean? It's a bit more like the Goliath attack rather than like the old Cyclone attack per se.
Not enough energy.
So you can even fight, because Subjector's anti-air is amazing, although I don't advise fighting head-on so much.
Your ally started the fight.
When you can kite and then trade more efficiently instead. See, they just can't really catch up and shoot you. You're faster. As I said in like one of my very, very first videos ever, if you're faster and you have longer range, you can just kite forever. And even if the damage, even if they might do bonus damage against you and your damage to them might not be very, very high, you can still technically counter them in a way, because you can just kite forever and ever and ever and ever. See? Very easy. Let me actually check the costs. Yeah, this is with a lot lower cost as well, even. With an even cost army, that would be extremely one-sided. Now, something that I think is a bit underrated are Echoes. They have extremely high damage. They're like Phoenixes, except they're useless against ground. However, they do solid damage against both light and armored units, because it's just, you know, it's not a bonus that they have, it's just a solid straight up damage, and they're extremely good at, you know, running away from these. Look how quick they don't take so much hits from the long range attackers either. away. Still took a bit of a hit there. Now, it can be a bit hard to go echoes, to go like mass echo like this. That's definitely possible. Once you get enough of these, the Paragons will be completely dead. The thing that I find with echoes, whenever I use them and whatever I use them against, is that the engagements are always extremely one-sided. If you don't have enough echoes, all of them will die really quickly, without getting much done. And if you do have enough echoes, you'll kill all of the opponent's stuff quite quickly. Not quite as one-sided as, say, Phoenix vs. Phoenix battles, but yeah. Vaults do shoot up, though I don't recommend specifically going mass vaults. They are fast, though because they're grounded, it's going to be harder to dodge these, and because they don't have more range than Paragons, they'll always be hit by Paragon attacks in order to get in range of the Paragon. So I don't advise using vaults. However, inducers, they are notoriously long range. That might be a bit too much. Don't need that many. And they have a bonus versus massive, and this is exactly what the bonus versus massive is for. Just to kill these Paragons. Look, I'll show you. They won't be able to dodge the thing so well, so you always, with their speed, so you have to,
Looks like your friend needs support.
Actually, I'm not sure how this goes if I walk up close. Yeah, wow. Because their attack speed increases when they get close, they can even fight like this up close to the Paragons. Although at first you definitely want to stay at your maximum range, so when they do use the emissary orb, you have enough range already, enough distance between you and the emissary orb to run away. These are not very fast, so you don't want to be jumping on top of the Paragons like I did towards the end there, while they still have that emissary orb available. Otherwise, you'll get destroyed. The next is, obviously, you can also make your own Paragons as Keiron. Harbingers, I'm not too sure. I don't recommend, actually. Let me try this. So at first, I think what you want to do, you want to bait out that emissary orb, and then you can run away really quick. These are all very, very fast. Oh no, he snapped the gyre. That's my bad. You need the gyres for this. You need the gyres. I'll put these on hotkey 3. I'll keep them back here. So you want to come in with the Harbingers. Make sure the gyres can't be sniped. As a Paragon player, if they bring in the gyres, you want to snipe them. Now the anti of the Harbingers is pretty solid, although I wouldn't. So is the anti of the Paragon, so I wouldn't recommend necessarily going straight Harbingers for this. Okay, but see here. This is what the now we get in Judgment mode. Oops, wrong ability. Yeah, okay, no, it doesn't really work very well. I was wondering if Shackle with that Judgment Mode splash would work very well, but because Paragons are just so high HP, and because there is that short time where they're unable to attack while they're transferring into Judgment Mode, you lose too many Harbingers in that moment when they're transferring into Judgment Mode. It is very, very strong versus like units like Echoes and Mutalisks, though. So Argos, Subjectors, and or Inducers, really. But I think Inducers are better toward the late game, Subjectors in mid game, and then in the late game, I would just go towards making your own Paragons and also getting your own Gyres. Gyres with the Emissary Orb, forcing these Gyres with Emissary Orb. What did I say? Gyres with the Shackle against the opponent's Paragons and then using your emissary orbs to maximum effect against the enemy's Paragons. Because with the shackle they're unable to move. Okay, next I'm going to go to Xayid. Xayid. What's nice about Xayid is that they have Xayid links. The nice thing about Xayid links is that they do a bonus versus armored with this. I'm going to get that dash ability as well. Now I'm not too sure about how that. I don't think it's super reliable. So as a Xayid player, when you scout Paragons, I think you want to be attacking before there's really more than when there's too many Paragons. Because once there's too many Paragons, I think the emissary orbs will do too much. Like against Terran Marines, these will get completely wrecked by emissary orb. But I'll show you anyway. They do have a small bonus versus massive with this upgrade here. Against armored. But even without that, they don't attack like Marines. They attack a little bit more like Stalkers because they shoot slower, but they do more damage per shot, which means they're able to ignore armor more than Marines are, which makes them better. They're also tankier as well. So yeah. Versus these high attack rate targets, you want a higher kind of cost unit. We can use dash. Now these are slow, so the dash does make up for that. You definitely need dash. Yeah. But their DPS is absolutely insane. The emissary orbs are really your main problem. You need to be very, very careful when going about that. I'll show you what I mean. Say if you don't use dash immediately, if you try to snipe, if you try too hard to get some damage in, or if you dash offensively as well, but now I'll run away. Completely destroyed. You need to dash immediately. You cannot dash on top of these Paragons at all. Yeah, you need to dash like that. Yeah. Now, emissary orbs do friendly fire. So especially as the
not enough energy.
as a Xayid player, you want to what was it? As a Keiron player, you want to make sure you don't accidentally run into your own emissary orbs. It has been happening a couple times in this video already, but yeah. Now, Menlings as well. Just a couple Menlings with those can really help. Actually, I'll redo that fight, but I'll just add like 4 Menlings. I'll just come in with these for now. Okay. Now with the sacrificial mutation. Look, this guy's just over. It can really help out a lot. It's kind of like Guardian Shield, except it's much better. You see that? Look how many shots it takes. They're hardly out DPSing the sacrificial mutation, even with +3 and all that. I'd get Menlings whenever you can against any army composition, especially like high fight, especially the higher rate of fire they have, the better it is. If they attack more like a Tempest or something, it won't do so much because they'll be more one-shotting your units a little bit more often, but yeah. Now, I'm not actually... I think Xayid would... Actually, no, yeah, that's right. These Maslisks actually do a lot. This is another amazing option. This is potentially a late game option as well, kind of like the Thors. See here. Now you're not exactly going to be dodging the emissary orb so easily, I don't think, but I don't think it matters as much. Maybe? Yeah. These guys have 8 armor. It's completely insane. Now, I would actually probably try to dodge those orbs, depends on the Paragon count. If the Paragon count is quite high, I would dodge the emissary orbs. But as long as the Paragon count isn't really getting above 9, I'd say, against the amount that I had there, you can probably just fight them head on, tank those emissary orbs, and you'd still do a lot. Although they could just use. Let me think this. What if they just run away? These guys are actually a little bit faster. Oh. Yeah, then they could. Yeah, okay. So with Basilisks, you are gonna want casnolisks as well. Casnolisk. Because for their stagnating bile, to keep the Paragons in place. So you can always pick off some rather. Oops. Now if I try to run away, especially once you hit one, you can just chain it. And then, well, they can't even attack. I thought they could still attack. No, they can't even attack. But yeah, okay. You definitely want these casnolisks as a Xayid player if you're going to go Basilisk. Otherwise, as a Keiron player, you could use Emissary Orb, retreat. Whenever they try to catch up to you, you can use that shoot while moving to continually pick them off. I think this is definitely quite a solid option as Xayid. Now, another great option is these do bonus versus light. However, they still do just a lot of damage. You could potentially even use Messiah Thoen's Protective Cloud if you're going exterminators. Though I don't recommend that so much because they can actually, yeah, they'll probably just pick it off too easily with the air weapon, anti-air weapon. Now, these have emissary orbs, but these almost have their own little mini emissary orbs. And then they're quite fast, so they can dodge this.
Need to help him.
Look how much damage that does. Now, even though, yeah. Now, even though these do bonus versus light, even against non-light, they're not too bad. Yeah, actually, that's still not the greatest fight though, actually. Although I definitely still would get these for their incendiary infusion. But no, apparently I was wrong. You want these Krakens. So Krakens. I've voiced my opinion about these in the Discord. I think they're a bit kind of underdeveloped. Like they have an extremely long turn rate. Their projectile moves incredibly slowly, and although these things aren't directly stats that show here, it affects their handling quite a lot. It makes them feel very sluggish, and it makes them feel bad to play as well. Notice here though, the supplies, this is lower supply, so you'll be able to get more of this in the later game, which is then he'll be able to get Paragons, which is very good. I would use this as your late game army. Get this upgrade. Was there an exterminator upgrade? No, okay. Making sure I didn't forget anything. Okay. But one thing these Krakens are very, very, very good at is their single target damage. Look at that. 21 times 4. Now that does mean, because there's 4 attacks, that does mean that it is affected by armor quite a lot, which Paragons do have. They're not quite as much as BCs now. But look, combined with this ability here, which you definitely want to use. That's my bad. No, whoops. Okay. So what you want to do as a Xayid player, forget that happened. You want to go in with your exterminators. You just want to go in with these exterminators. Bait out all of the emissary orbs. Use that nice incendiary infusion. And there you go back, join up with the Krakens. And the Kraken's high single target damage should help you out a lot. Especially the, they're gonna have to watch out for those volatile discharges.
Looks like your friend needs support.
Yeah, actually, Keiron still wins. Maybe I'm wrong. Although, if we go even suppliers, I'm not sure if that would make enough of a difference. I've used this in late game before against Keiron. Although I usually am able to get more of this. So what Keiron often does, they don't purely mass Paragon, because then they get completely countered by Dragons. So what they often do, they get a lot of Paragons, then they would add on something that will stop your opponent from abusing ground units, like Meridians or Inducers, or something like that. And because Paragons are so high in supply, they don't usually get too many more than this amount of Paragons, because that already takes up a lot of their supply. Maybe. Oh no, never mind. I'm forgetting an upgrade. That should help.
Your ally started a fight. Need to help him.
Now, if you do get any of these to hit, these volatile discharges do good. In high supply counts, I think this army scales better, because you'll have more of these incendiary infusions, and you will have more of these volatile discharges. If you're able to surround the current army, especially because Paragons are so slow, if you're able to surround them in these volatile discharges, then they won't have enough time to escape. Although they could still kite you. Maybe basilisks are simply the better option. Not entirely sure, but let's go up to 135 supply. Not this much. That's a lot of Paragons. Maybe this is a better one.
Your ally joined the battle.
Look at their low turn rates.
Looks like your friend needs support.
Yeah, if any of those hit, then it's game over for the Paragon. Oh! I'm dumb. Here's what you do. What about extending? I'm gonna reduce this back to its original 9. Here's what you do. Here's what you do. Just get a couple of those. Oh, actually, no, wait, does this cancel Emissary? I think it does. Emissary Orb is very easy to cancel. Look. didn't control that very well. I think it would be... I'll see if I can control it better for better demonstration. No. This is hard to control, actually. If I'm trying to control the Paragons plus this army here. If I just... You have to throw them to be able to hit. I'm missing this off. Trying to do the emissary orcs while doing this. 3 army control groups, hard to do. But essentially what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to use the stagnating bile in combination with the volatile discharge. That might actually be extremely overpowered. Oh, no, because you can dodge the stagnating bile. So it won't be overpowered, but it will be very, very strong against capital ships because they're very slow. It will only be, yeah. But yeah, use the stagnating bile in combination with volatile discharge, and you'll do quite well. Although you saw in that other thing as well, although I didn't control the current army perfectly, that with exterminators, that with higher supplies of exterminators and krakens, they do scale better to fight the current army, current Paragons. Okay. Now onto the standard races. This is going to be a very long video. I'll see if I can put this into chapters. You know, Protoss versus Terran, you know, so you can just go to the race that you want to see. Actually no, I'll upload in... No, I'll do one big video. Okay. As Protoss, I think this is fairly self-explanatory. You're going to want Tempests. That's it. Although you don't really need any more Tempests. Once you have enough Tempests to one-shot these Paragons, which by the way, you'll need slightly more if the Paragon players using fuses.
We seek justice.
But yeah, you just need enough Tempests to one-shot, and then generally carriers are a very good supplementary.
We are poised for victory. Let us proceed. We are ready.
That's better.
Victory awaits.
And then maybe an Oracle as well. So this is, you're just going to want this, honestly. Once you have enough Tempests to one-shot, you don't really need any more Tempests. Start making carriers, they supplement better, and they would help you better in the head-on engagement. Once you've slowly drained all their numbers. Paragons, they have long anti-air range, and they have high DPS, though not as long as Tempests. They have 14. There's still not a single unit of the Keirons that has a higher range than the Tempests. This is just a fact. There's nothing they're going to be able to do against the Tempests as a pure Paragon player. They're going to need something more like Harbingers or Echoes, or I don't know, something else. That's a topic for another video, to deal with these Tempests. So we're just going to attack. I'm going to reveal these. Though I already have vision.
Your ally joined the battle.
It's a bit hard to control.
Our window is short.
Your ally started a fight. Need to help him.
I'm not controlling this perfectly at all. I'll get rid of the Oracle. This is distracting my control. I already have vision. In your games, you will need that Oracle, but in here I'm just getting rid of it because I already have vision, because this is the unit tester. So
Battle is won. The color is served.
just kite. Target firing would be good as well.
Looks like your friend needs support.
Oh, I forgot to get upgrades, that's why. My bad. There you go. Sorry for all the mistakes in this video. They're definitely not. There we go. It's a bit cleaner. Run away from these orbs, then continue sniping.
Your ally joined the battle.
We are poised for victory. Agreed.
Your ally started a fight. Need to help him.
We are ready.
Yeah. This is going to be an easy thing. Go Skytoss. As a ground army, Stalkers would be good. You'd fight it like similar to how you would like carrier disruptor. Think of the emissary orbs as disruptors. That'd be much easier to dodge as well. Oh yeah, something as well. You could get a sentry for Guardian Shield. That'd be quite strong. I'm not sure how easy that would be to implement though. Yeah, this is just the case for everything. Sentry for Guardian Shield is always amazing, especially in that case.
Is the void.
Yeah. And with Blink, you can dodge those emissary orbs so easily. Something I think you could actually do. Go here. And then get him to shoot himself in the face. Look at that! Look at that! You see him? He just shot himself in the face. Stupid card. Get him to shoot himself in the face with emissary orbs because they do friendly fire with a splash. Try if you blink away at the right moment. That's something you'll be able to do. That would be extremely broken.
We are
Yeah.
one.
I don't think Void Rays would work as well, though they might. I'll just test them for you to see, so then you can see how well they do. You will need Flux Veins, absolutely, to dodge those emissary orbs. Otherwise, this will get completely knocked out of the sky.
This vessel shall invade. Systems
So you don't want to be using this straight up.
annihilation.
I still have enough GPS to actually dodge. You need, as you can see, you definitely need Flux Veins against that. If he has only a couple left over, you should be able to still dive on top of this, as long as you use focus fire and snipe for the ones that are charging with that emissary orb before it goes off. But yeah.
Channel the light
So Void Rays are okay, but by the time you have Flux Veins and this many Void Rays, you probably have access to Tempest technology, so I'll just go to Tempest instead. Though, who knows, maybe if you're playing Void Rays right from the get-go, and you just have all those Void Rays left over, you just got a fleet beacon, and you're doing some Flux Veins tiny attack, that's something you could totally do, I think. Yeah. Now it's Terran. Now against many other capital ships, you've been told to go Marines. This is not something I recommend against.
Light flight's here. Waiting on you.
By the numbers, boys.
It's not something I recommend against Keiron at all. Watch this. I'm going to show you how bad this is. I think.
This better be good.
At least pure Marine.
Gonna give me orders?
I can run away, but no. Maybe I can just run away. Maybe they don't shot. Maybe I'm just telling you guys. A bit overstimmed. Yeah, okay, these guys still do alright. It's a bit like fighting BCs or carriers, you definitely do need to run away from that. But something that's even more broken than this,
Gonna give me orders?
something that's extremely broken actually. Just get 3 ghosts. Don't even need cloak.
Go. You sure
I
about
have too many
that?
mana.
Solo operative, right?
This actually cancels. It cancels the ability.
Your ally started a fight. Need to
Even while
help
it's
him.
charging, you EMP the Paragon, cancels the ability.
Give me the sit
Completely
rep.
broken.
Solo operative, right?
Whatever you do as Terran, just get ghosts against Paragons. Cancelling the emissary orb is such a big deal.
I hear you, Sophie. I am here. Click me.
Now, something else you can do as well. I do believe this and the casnolisks are the only 2 units that are able to go toe-to-toe versus Paragons and still tank, like whilst still tanking the emissary orbs. Actually, maybe the Zythones and the volatile discharge. If they tank volatile discharge, then that will also work. But yeah.
Hit me. Fix me up, will ya?
Not too sure. But Thors definitely do quite good damage.
I'm wasting away here. Get me back into the... Got
Yeah.
something for me?
So Thors,
Hit me.
they're amazing. I'd still get a ghost. If you just get like 2 ghosts with this as well, it's even more broken.
Out with it. Deploy.
Because then they don't even tank the...
Out on it. Copy that.
Still like
Again.
3 of them hit, but
You sure about
it's
that?
even more broken.
Go.
Vikings. Vikings.
Let's
They'll
get
work.
into the fight.
Actually, no. No, they won't. So Vikings, usually you can kite
Transformation
with
systems
Vikings.
primed.
You can't kite with Vikings against this. Because Vikings
Made for
have the
battle.
same range as Paragon anti-air. Look,
Give me the sit rep.
I think that
Solo
I think they might work,
Fight or flight.
but they definitely won't
Sure
be as
about
efficient as
that?
the other options so far.
Out with it.
I don't think.
Sounds like a plan. Nothing to...
Transformation systems primed.
There's no point in me kiting here because they have the same range.
Certainly. You ready for war? Yes, indeed.
Yeah, okay. Vikings don't work even with EMP. Even with the emissary orb cancelled, Vikings just don't work.
Let's get
They're,
into the fight. Fight or
they're
flight.
paper planes,
Yeah, right.
as BCQD once said. The only advantage is their range. So they have good damage. They have quite good damage. But the only advantage is the range, and against the Paragons, that advantage is just negated.
Made for battle.
Don't make Vikings against Paragons. Don't make the classic Terran mistake of building the wrong units. Now, barrel cruisers, I do think work
Oh, really?
with Yamato, as long as you have EMP against emissary orbs. Oh, actually, you might not even need EMP. Actually, no, I think not EMP you need.
Yes, Commander. Patching you through.
Yeah.
You hail? Well,
With good focus firing from... This is like very good focus firing, as you can tell from Keiron. But yeah. I think that would be your
Give me the
ultimate late
sit
game
rep.
army, would be battle cruisers. Although Thors would probably work too.
what is
I
it?
prefer flying units for my late game army because then they can ignore the terrain. And with battle cruisers as well, something that these Keiron Paragons don't have
You
is
hail?
tactical jump. So I'll actually show you, if I
Out with it. You
if
sure
I
about
replace
that?
these ghosts with
Solo
a
operative,
Raven
right?
instead, I think this will still work out just fine. I'll get COVID reactor, or Corvid reactor. Actually, it's not really going to get taken down now.
Battlefield
Yes, I know.
conditions.
Hopefully not. Probably not. But yeah, you could
State
probably
your
actually use
request.
the...
Yes, Commander.
That's a dodge. Yeah. Now use this.
Engage.
Yeah. You could use tactical jump to dodge because you become invincible during that time. You might even be able to get the Yamato off beforehand. But yeah, with Yamato you should be able to fight Paragons pretty well, pretty handily. As a Keiron player, I would add in juices if your opponent's getting battle cruisers or Thors, because they're both massive
Well?
units. So I'd have Paragons and inducers. So you would kite with Paragons
What
when they
is it?
jump on top of you. All of a sudden the inducers damage per second increases a lot because their attack rate also increases. And that will give you the slight edge that you need, I think, in order to make
Oh,
these
really?
engagements a little more favourable. Because, yeah.
Combat.
Terran's got a pretty easy time versus Paragons, I think. Now, last but not least, Zerg. I think this is pretty obvious, pretty self-explanatory. I don't think there's too much of a point going. Oh, actually, maybe there is. Yeah, maybe there is. Yeah, okay. I was thinking of infestors with neural parasites, because you'd think the main purpose would be against emissarial, but against emissarial would be useless because it won't be cancelled, and it does friendly fire regardless. But to negate the Paragon's DPS, I think that would work. So something you need to keep in mind. Something that does give Keiron an advantage over Cropters compared to, say, the other races' capital ships is other races' capital ships, so carriers and battle cruisers, they attack fast. They attack quite fast. And that means the Corruptor's armor and HP just tanks so well. Now, something that's different here is that it's in a long, high damage, longer firing anti-air weapon. I feel like they should get their own names rather than air weapon and ground weapon. But as you can see here, it shoots slower, but it does more damage. So it's not going to really care about the armor that the Corruptor has so much. So, as well as unlike all of your other compositions, you'd be prioritizing armor against capital ships. But in this, I would prioritize attack, which is what most noobs do anyway. But yeah. The damage versus massive would still be amazing though. So, but I'm not entirely sure how well this actually goes. I'm just going to start with pure Corruptor to see how that goes. I think generally though you still want to have that kind of style army. I took too long to dodge there, that was my bad. I messed up, yeah, this is what happens when you mess up the micro. No, I messed it up again. I keep trying to go in for a second. I keep trying to go in for a second snipe, but you don't have time. You have enough time to only snipe one of these. And you run away. Oh yeah, this is better. We still have a couple left. If there's any left, try and snipe those before they go off. If not, yeah, it's quite close. Paragon still wins. Okay. We'll get, I think Infestors probably would be better than Vipers. Because of the long range of the Paragon, Abducts won't be as good. So I'll get armor upgrades, and then I'll get, where is this one here? I'll get these upgrades. Something as well though, is they attack quickly with the ground weapon, so Ultras would be good against any ground units. They're not as good against BCs or carriers because of their because they do a little bit more damage per shot, but it's still doable, I think. Just put these on 2 and these on 1. Oh, I forgot to get Bar. Yeah, and I'll just give these a gyre for detection. Okay. There we go. Just put this on follow. Just pretend that's not there. That's only for detection for the Keiron only. Okay. So these guys come in. They use the emissary orbs. I'm gonna run away here. These. Yeah, I'm not Sarah, so I don't do so well. Yeah, okay. But you can see here, I messed up the micro quite bad. But even then, Neural Parasite does a whole lot more. You absolutely want Neural Parasite against the Paragons as Zerg. I think Zerg they will struggle more versus this than say some other things. Though I think it'll be possible because like say at a high level it will be more possible, but at a lower level it will be harder than against say SkyToss or SkyToss or SkyTerran because of how their attacks work. But at a high level, Keiron doesn't really have an anti-spellcaster unit. The best unit for that is the Meridian or the Inducer, which is lightning. So it doesn't actually cancel your ability. You need to use multiple lightning bolts per spellcaster in order to kill the spellcaster, in order to cancel that ability. It's like Snipe, but a lot worse against Zerg. Against the other races, it's a bit better because they're not all. But yeah, against Zerg, Lightning Bolt is essentially Snipe, but far, far worse. It doesn't even do as much damage as Snipe does. So you need, I think, yeah. Oh no, it's only 90 HP. Oh, maybe you can one-shot. I didn't realize that only 90 HP. Okay, no, they're still one-shot. Though it's 125 energy instead of like 50 energy. So it's still quite a fair bit worse against Zerg. The chain lightning the chain effect doesn't really make up for that either. So, and there's no EMP. There's no EMP, there's no feedback. Like, feedback is extremely spammable. I think feedback is only 25 energy as well, and it's longer range. Oh, it's 70. Oh no, 50 energy. Yeah. So feedback. All the other anti-spellcaster spells are only 50 energy, and they have longer range, I do believe. Wait, let me just double check my facts. This has the same range.
We are the light
And then this
of the
has...
power.
Wait, let me just see.
We are focused.
Give me this.
Guys,
Orakai,
I don't actually know the range of these builds. I know this is range 10, but I don't know the others.
I will my
So-
charge.
I just use feedback.
I heed the call.
Oh wait, no, they're not all at the same level. Wait a second.
Our minds.
Don't mind me,
We shall
just
stand
looking at
our
this.
mind.
Go.
We
Out with it.
are focused. Taro Tassadon.
So those are about the same distance if I just go... Oh, it doesn't
Solo
one-shot.
operative, right?
It doesn't one-shot.
Confirmed.
Huh? Oh, it does 80 damage. What did I read earlier?
Come again.
Okay, never mind, it doesn't one-shot. I think these are all the same range. Yeah, these are all the same range. They're all same range, however this doesn't one-shot. Plus it costs over twice as much energy to use, so you'll need a lot more meridians. And I think meridians cost more as well. That's 125, 150, 125. This is 50, 150. Keiron, 175, 150. Yeah. So the Keiron one's also more expensive. So they're not as strong they suffer more versus the Zerg spellcasters. So at a high level, I don't think it would be overpowered. But yeah, essentially what I'm trying to say, low level Zergs will struggle more, but because the Zerg spellcasters struggle less against Keiron than they do against Protoss and Terran spellcasters, at a high level it still won't be so bad. But yeah, now that's the last of them. It's now over an hour in this video. Thank you very much for watching if you watched all the way to the end, or if you watched more than one, say, segment. But yeah, that'll be the end of this video. I hope you found it very useful. If you want me to cover in potentially supplementary units as well, although I think that'll be an even longer video if I add layers to this pure Paragon style. But yeah, if you have any other army composition suggestions you want to see, please leave that in the comments as well. That'll potentially be the next video I do. I'll cover it as all 6 races, or another idea I had, potentially I could just do the 3 standard races and then the 3 custom races into like 2-part, so I can do it in 2-part videos. If you'd prefer that as well, let me know. But yeah, that'll be the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.